Thank you all for attending. I have a really good presentation for you all. Was the first session super hot because there was a lot of people? Was the first session super hot because there was a lot of people? It's just the room. It's really that bad? You're really steaming? Okay, I will not let you all fall asleep from the heat. I am from DC. Yeah. Yeah, HU. Absolutely. I live in Baltimore now, though. I love Baltimore. I love the food in Baltimore. I love the water on Baltimore. It's wonderful. But I do take the train down. So it's only about a 50-minute train ride. No, I live in Baltimore City. Yeah, the Baltimore City. All our benches remind us that we are in Baltimore. And see, you should have heard it in the accent. See, if I didn't live in Baltimore, I would have said Baltimore, but I didn't. People who live in Baltimore know it's Baltimore. People who are not from Baltimore say Baltimore. I guess it's like people from Illinois who say Illinois, but it's Illinois. I know, you all don't. People from Baltimore say Baltimore. People not from Baltimore say Baltimore. You say the T. People from Illinois don't say the S, but people not from Illinois, they say the S. Yeah, it's like nails on a chalkboard, right? Yeah, so we got about 3 minutes. Lovely. Thanks to everyone who arrived early. I'm 5 years removed from the 10 minutes prior to the 10 minutes prior, so I'm not the best at early anymore. I am from Baltimore. Oh, yeah. I know, we were just talking about the difference. People not from Baltimore say Baltimore. Yeah, yeah. I live on Charles Street. No, that's in Charles Village. Just before Hamden. Oh, Canton. Yeah, exactly. Fun. I go to Fells Point a lot. The Admiral is my little hangout spot. Yeah, I love the Admiral. I like the Waterfront Hotel. Yeah. WTF. And then you have to get it differentiated from WFT, the football team, right? Yeah, yeah. Well, they're renovating it now, so yeah. I hope they don't get rid of like the oldie feel. Bar Casino, I went there the day before I got on my flight. You know, Bar Casinos, their tacos are yummy. There's like a lot of flavors though. Yeah, that's funny. No, I'm a big Uber Eats person. All right, well, let me get ready to start. Thank you. Alrighty, so I prepared this just in case I was going to need to do this on Zoom. So I prepared kind of everything to be both, that it could work both ways. Thanks for being here. We are going to be talking about advocating for yourself and your chapter on your campus. I'm a huge advocate. I'm a well-known activist in DC. My name is Tiana Pantovich. I'm alumna of the Defense Language Institute. If anybody here has been to Monterey, it's lovely. I'm also an alumna of Central Texas College. I'm also an alumna of the University of Michigan, go Blue. And I will soon be an alumna of the illustrious Howard University in Washington, D.C. So lots of places that I have been an advocate for myself and other veterans. So this is what we're going to be talking about. Why would you have to advocate? Aren't there groups that advocate for veterans? Why would a veteran need to go out of their way to do stuff that organizations are designed for? You'll be surprised. What are the benefits of advocating? And what does it look like? It looks different for everyone. I will say that ahead of time. Lots of things can come as a result of advocating. Lots of good things can come about it. And is it worth it in the end? And we'll talk about that. And we're going to share some examples of how we've advocated here if we have time at the end. So, a little bit about me. I was in the Army. I was a cryptolinguist, and I worked NSA Fort Meade and Fort Hood. While at Fort Hood, I advocated on behalf of sexual harassment, sexual assault victims, and I worked with the SHARP office there because, as you all know, rest in peace to Vanessa Gillen, Fort Hood is not a safe place for sexual assault survivors. And so I made sure to improve that base before I left. Obviously, my work is not done because Vanessa Gillen was bludgeoned to death after I left. And I'm very angry about that. And now I'm an intern at the House Veteran Affairs Committee on Capitol Hill. There is our Capitol right behind me, and I work there now. And I'm making sure that I will bring legislation so that things that have happened to me do not happen to the others that come after me. I believe that I have been put in these positions by God, if you don't believe in God, by the universe, by a higher power, to advocate for those who will come after me. There's no other reason. I'm at Howard right now, and I almost didn't go to Howard. I had gotten into also the University of Michigan's School of Social Work. That is the #1 school of social work in the nation. I was already in Ann Arbor, might as well go to the #1, right? Something was telling me not to. Something told me to go to the illustrious Howard University. Shortly after, Howard University was suspended by the Department of Veteran Affairs. Kick in Tiana. So, why would you have to advocate? What could possibly happen to where I need to pull myself from my academics and advocate for myself? Aren't there organizations out there? Yes, sure. But direct advocacy gets you farther. Your voice as a veteran is important. As I mentioned, Howard University was suspended by the Department of Veteran Affairs 1 semester into my program. And I'm in a master program, I only had 4 semesters. I was not aware of what was going on behind the scenes, but I had to kick into gear to get us unsuspended from the Department of Veteran Affairs. I made hundreds of phone calls to the state approving agency, to Veteran Education Success, to the prior certifying official, to the vice president, to the provost. My emails went all the way up to the president, because that is how far I will go. So, there's mistakes that could be happening on the back end that you just simply don't know about. And when you find out about them, you may be put in a position where you have to advocate. Put yourself in a mindset that you can kick into gear. It doesn't have to be a headache. It doesn't have to be painful. Once you've put yourself in a mindset, I am an advocate, this becomes natural to you, right? You may be left scrambling because of someone else. As you see here, I was exhausted. I was so exhausted. However, I wasn't going to stop. This is natural to me. I was going to keep going. Even when I had to move out of my home because of the situation, I sold my vehicle, I sold my couch, and I moved out of my house because I lost my BAH last minute. But I kicked into gear, and I kept it going. I'm even advocating here because it's natural to me. There are others here who have gone to for-profit colleges that have gotten bamboozled out of their benefits. And you may be one of them. It may not happen your first semester. My first semester was perfect. It was lovely. My $2,500 of BAH was lovely. But then it just didn't come. January 31st, 2021, my BAH didn't come. February 28th, my BAH didn't come. What's going on? Like many of these student veterans, they got put in debt. Their savings were decimated by their own university. Their own benefits that they earned, those are their benefits. Those were my benefits that suddenly I couldn't use. You need to be able to put yourself in a position to advocate, to make these changes and turn this around. And we'll talk about how. Because there's benefits of advocating. There's risks, but the benefits do outweigh the risks. The benefits are partnerships can be formed. Now I have a pal who's doing excellent work at Howard, certifying veterans day in, day out. I have made pals here in the SVA who have advocated all the way to the White House for student veterans at Howard University. I have made partnerships at Veteran Education Success, military.com, friends who I can reach out in 15 years when I'm Dr. T. If I'm in my PhD program and this happens again, I have partnerships, I have people who I can reach out to now because of this advocacy. Be willing to make partnerships, because as I mentioned, there are groups who commit themselves to advocating for veterans. You don't need to join that group, but you can partner with that group. And they could be there for you or the next veteran behind you. Barriers can be removed. We had a barrier. The prior certifying official was doing the wrong thing. And everyone knows when you have a mission and there's someone in the way of your mission, they need to be removed. And that's what we did. The certifying official was gone, and we got partially reinstated at Howard. And now there's hundreds of veterans who almost didn't get their benefits that are now getting their benefits. No harm, no foul. You messed up, that's your job on the line. I don't feel bad that that person lost their job because their removal was what was best for our veteran community. And their replacement, 100 times better. What does advocating for yourself look like as a veteran? Is there a model to follow? Is there a right way? Here I am talking about advocating. Do I have a model? Do I have a path? Do I have a blueprint for you? Remember, it looks different for everyone. Advocating is different for everyone. My advocacy at my university looked different than the way the advocates at the for-profit universities needed to advocate for themselves. Remember, everyone's going to bring different talents to the table. That's what those partnerships were excellent for. I'm a therapist. I help people overcome substance use disorder. I'm good about talking about difficult things, but I don't know the law. I don't know anything about GI Bill law things and things like that. I'm bringing a mental health perspective to Capitol Hill. And they have people who know the legality part of the policy that I verbalize that they put into legal jargon, okay? So enjoy those talents that are coming from your partnerships. If you're artsy, use posters, use signs. If you're a good speaker, like myself, use your voice. Make phone calls, send emails, right? If you're good with technology, you're gonna make a website. You're gonna make a Google form. You're going to poll people. Use your talents that you naturally have. What are you naturally good at? You're a computer science major. Then make the SVA website for your chapter. Do you even have a chapter? Incorporate someone who's a good speaker so they can go out in the middle, the center of your campus with the blowhorn and start pulling in veterans, mil spouses, and supporters. use the internet, right? Use the internet. Do not be afraid to get on your socials, post about it. That's what I did. Ended up military.com. It went everywhere. People from California were calling me about my school in DC. People from Alaska were calling me. It was wild. It will spread. And that's what you need. You need your word to get out there. Use the internet. What does advocating for your chapter look like? Like I said, they kind of go hand in hand, but it's different. You need to interact with your social circle. So if there's mil spouses in your social circle, if there's military dependents in the social circle, pull them in. Pull them in. Provide mental health resources and support, because it sucks when you're getting taken advantage of by your own school. It sucks when you need to move out of your home, sell your vehicle, because your school messed up. Provide support to each other and keep in contact. I definitely, as an alumna of the University of Michigan, I reached out to some people who helped me while I was in Michigan to guide me through my path at Howard. Keep in contact with the people who are in your community college as you go on to your big school. And then when you go from your big school and start your PhD program, keep in contact with those people. It's just as simple as, hey, I just wanted to let you know I graduated, and here's a nice photo. Oh, wow, it's nice to catch up to you. I haven't heard from you in 2 years, but I'm really happy for you, and I'm still rooting for you. Lovely. Keep in contact with them, because you never know when they'll be there to reach out to their connects. What can happen as a result of advocating? A lot. As I mentioned, the person who was messing up at my university, they're gone. And the person who's in their place is not messing up. It was lovely. There was a loophole that was making for-profit universities capable of taking advantage of veterans. It wasn't until veterans advocated for themselves, brought this to the attention of lawmakers, and said, this needs to change. And it did. My state, I live in Baltimore, passed a piece of legislation to protect veterans from for-profit universities on our state grounds. And also it protects National Guard members who are members of the Maryland National Guard. And so you can get federal laws passed. That's what I'm doing on Capitol Hill right now. You can get state laws passed, and you could remove barriers directly from your advocacy. And you can see an improvement in your life from that. You may have a space given to you. So the University of Michigan has a lovely space with Mr. Phil Larson, and you could go in there and study if need be. Howard does not have that, but I'm not done. And these are all, if you'll notice the dates, these are all from 2021, 2020, 2021. This is recent. This is the University of Virginia that is opening in 2021 a new center for veterans. That's a huge school. It took until 2021 for veteran advocates to get a center for their students. And I know that there are students here, I've talked to them in the hallways, that are talking about getting a space for their veterans. Keep fighting for that, because soon you'll be here. Your university will have this little news page saying Villanova announces creation of Veterans Resource Center. Pace University, new Veteran Resource Center. Keep that going until every university on this wonderful nation's land has a Veteran Resource Center, as it should be. Scholarships, you deserve them. Every single person in here deserves them. Every single person in here deserves space to study. As a veteran, you deserve it. No imposter syndrome in here. You deserve it. Believe it. Walk out of here believing it. Nearly $100,000, oops, wrong one. Nearly $100,000 here, Colorado State University. This is the University of Florida. Huge list of scholarships. I promise you, when that university was founded, this list was not that long. It took advocates to get there. Ohio University, it's kind of in the same tier as my alma mater, the University of Michigan, and they, look, fall 2022, that was advocates this year. That was advocates in 2021 that made it so that a scholarship would happen. That's real life changes occurring right now. Go back to your campus, demand this. You're not entitled for that. You deserve that. And believe it. Believe it that you deserve this, because you do. You absolutely do. You may become a bona fide advocate. So Howard University recently had the longest sit-in in its history. It was a 33-day sit-in in the Blackburn Center, and I spoke out. This is natural to me. At this point in my advocacy stage, this is natural to me. And I want you all to be natural with this. I want it to come out and flow out. And that's how change has happened. You don't need to be some superstar. There's no cape coming out of me. You don't need to be a superstar to make this happen. You need to be you. You need to be an advocate, and that can be part of you. You don't need to be a social science major, psychology major, or social work major like myself. If you're a computer science major, your literature major, English major, use your skills, as I mentioned. But remember something important, and I mentioned it earlier, but as I talk about how natural it comes to me, it may be forgotten. This isn't easy. It's not an easy job. As I said, I sold my vehicle, I sold my couch, and I moved to make it happen. I used to live in DC, right on the train line, the metro line, to my school. I was right there. But when my BH didn't come, how can I afford to live in DC? It wasn't easy to move last minute. It wasn't easy to make it happen last minute. But when people see this, when people see me on the stage, nominated as Student Veteran of the Year, that's what they see. I bet you none of you would have expected I was facing homelessness in August. But I was. It takes sacrifice. It takes protecting your own mental health. That's not talked about enough. You need to protect your own mental health, because if you're trying to grow this beautiful garden, this veteran center with scholarships and an Army ball, a Marine Corps ball, and you're trying to grow these beautiful flowers, and you're this watering can, trying to grow these beautiful flowers as a product of your advocacy. If there's holes at the bottom of your watering can, and your water is just falling out, you're drained. You can't properly water the flowers that you want to. And you will not get the fruits of your work because of it, because you're tired, you're exhausted. But take care of yourself. I took care of myself this summer, and I love me. I took myself to get massages. I have phenomenal nails. That makes me feel good. Do what makes you feel good, even if it's simple to someone else. If a pedicure is going to make you feel good, go get it. And then the next day, send that email that you need. Send that email to get that scholarship. Send that email to get your Veteran Center. Send that email for funds for a trip to NatCon. Whatever is needed, make sure you're protecting yourself first. Make sure your watering can, whether it's tape at the bottom, whether you've properly sealed it, make sure you're doing that. Do not let those open wounds, those gaping wounds, let all your nourishment fall out. Because you're trying to grow something and have a growth mindset. Howard does not have an SVA. Howard does not have a veteran room to study in like my alma mater did. Howard does not have a veteran scholarship or a veteran grant. But I know more can be done. Have a growth mindset. So you get the Veteran Center, lovely, but there's no veteran scholarships there for you. Now you're advocating for that. Well, then you get the scholarships. Well, now we want a small row in the stadium. Sky's the limit. You're a veteran. For real, you're a veteran. And the sky can't be the limit if there's footprints on the moon. Keep going. When you think you've reached the sky, keep going. Understand there's disappointment. I loved my house in DC. I love the place. It was an L-shaped apartment. I had a lovely patio. It was right on the Green Line, 6 stops away from Howard, and it was very disappointing to have to move. It was. I don't have a patio now, and I miss it. But I know there's more next. Now I'm going to buy a house in March. I kept that growth mindset. I knew, sure, there might be a little setback. I had quite a few tears. There was quite a few sleepless nights. There was quite a few, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. But I didn't stop. I was determined. I kept it going. Every single day. Woke up, what was the next thing I could do for Howard? When I got here, at the chairman's luncheon or the chairman's dinner, I was talking with SVA members, still advocating, still saying what we can do. It keeps going. Make sure you are meeting your meeting targets. So if you're saying, I'm going to meet with the provost to talk about X, Y, and Z, you need to meet with the provost. This isn't just, I'm talking about it. You need to do it. And when you do it, you'll see progress. And then this is what people see up top. Those news articles. People will see that you've got the meeting, now you've got the new Veterans Center. But to be honest, for me, it doesn't matter. If nobody out there acknowledges that I was almost homeless in August, it doesn't matter to me. I'm still advocating for these veterans, and I will continue to do so. So, is advocating for yourself and your chapter worth it in the end? And I want you to raise your hand. Tell me what you think. Do you think it is? Do you think it's not? Go ahead, right here. Belle?
Oh yeah, I definitely think absolutely worth it. Knowing your own personal struggles and then listening to your constituents and trying to make change. Because I'm all about kind of like legacy in terms of like leaving things better than what was given to you. So
Yeah.
like that's my motto. So
Yeah.
advocacy is placed directly into that.
Mm-hmm.
I know right now I'm trying to get as many SBA chapters and communication as possible, as well as leasing connections.
And you're at UCLA?
Yes.
And so you're trying to get all the UC schools to be connected.
I want all the whole LA area to really talk to each other because collectively as a large organization,
Yeah.
more change happens.
Yes, absolutely. And make that happen. Send your emails out. Google search the president of UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz. Send those emails out to certifying officials, to liaisons, to so-and-so and so-and-so. And the worst that they could say is no.
Exactly. And it's harder to say no to more people. That's why it's better to have that follow-up.
There you go. Absolutely. Anybody else? Please share. Yes, in the back. I can't see your tag, but if you don't mind sharing your name.
Frank.
Frank, go ahead.
Do I believe that I think yourself and chapter, I think it's worth it in the end? I absolutely do, because honestly, even if you don't succeed in what you're trying to do, it's at least now in conversation. And
Yeah.
it's now on people's minds. If I can refer to a certain situation, I believe it was in 2020 that they were trying to, I think the case was Russ versus Wilkie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Where they were trying to grant those who enrolled into the Montgomery GI Bill an additional 12 months if they decided to go with Now, first it got approved and then it got overturned, but now they're fighting it again, and they're having to wait on it because of the pandemic. They couldn't like quite go through with it, but yeah, it's you know it's in the fight. It's at least it's out there now, and people are now talking about it.
Absolutely. And that's how you get change to go. It catches on to someone in HVAC or someone in SVAC, which is the Senate Veteran Affairs Committee, and there's another bill passed. So we can connect on that legislation as I'm in HVAC, as I mentioned. Anyone else? Please share. Yes, over there in the corner.
John from Pensacola State College.
Lovely.
One of the things about advocating on campus, if we don't advocate for ourselves, nobody else is doing it.
They'll let you fall through the cracks.
And we don't go out there and seek things out. Nobody's going to do it. We constantly talk about when there's veteran activities going on, so that's doing it.
Yeah,
And nobody's doing it for us. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, we're doing it.
yeah.
And we have to have that mindset that we got to be the ones that go after it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And right here in the front?
Yeah, we had a bit of a hiccup at our school.
And what school is it? And what's your name?
Minnesota, yeah. So this was the faculty did a good job responding to it. Well, we actually do have a military resource center,
Nice.
but this is similar to having your situation happening with VA work studies. So that was like having your coworker mess up your pay.
Yeah.
So the SBA kind of got on it, and the faculty made sure to fix the problem. It was like instead of ending that change to benefit, they just deleted the benefit like halfway through the semester. So imagine you're about to go in the finals week and you got like a whole, yeah. So.
It's so much anxiety. Absolutely. But from my understanding, it did turn around and change.
Yes, so advocacy absolutely is the only way to make change.
Yeah. Anyone else? All right. Lovely. But as you all heard, every single person who did raise their hand said yes. So if you're a little bit timid and unsure about it right now, you've heard from your colleagues, yes, it is worth it. Absolutely worth it in the end. Who can you reach out to? So Deja Joy with Student Veterans of America. Also any other Student Veteran of America employees are willing to take your inquiry and pass it on. Veteran Education Success. Jen, she's awesome. I've talked to her many times throughout the summer. She was so firm at my school kind of stopped talking to her. And that, she was an advocate. She was an advocate, she has solutions, and you could even go to the Veteran Education Success website, and they have a petition there for students at Howard University. So that is an excellent organization that I have also used, and myself. Reach out to me, and I can connect you to people in your area or people on the national side. I could also connect you to representatives in the House of Representatives on Capitol Hill who would be willing to maybe draft legislation for your state. As I mentioned, the Maryland legislation was able to pass stuff to protect student veterans from Maryland from predatory for-profit universities. So yeah, I'd absolutely be willing to connect with all of you and forward you to who you need, whether it is a technical college, whether it's a community college, a university, or you're in a graduate school program like myself. Reach out. Reach out. Do not be afraid to reach out and send that email. Don't read it over 6, 7 times, worried about misspellings or people are going to reject you because your syntax is wrong. Press send. Full send. So I'm done with my speaking portion, but I really do want to, we have about 10 minutes, so I was perfect on time. Yay. 10 minutes. I want to share, like this gentleman up front, I want to hear your advocacy, what you've done on your campus to advocate, and maybe how you can inspire those in the room who are possibly going through similar situations, and are like, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll go back to my campus and do that. So anyone here who's advocated for themselves or their chapter on campus, let me know.
So Terry Armstrong from University of Cincinnati.
Hello.
I'm not an
Bearcats.
advocate yet. Yeah, go Bearcats, UC. Any Alabama fans, don't talk to me. I don't have a situation, but I just have a question. Is there anybody out there that has done advocacy things to get space or larger space on your campus as a lounge? And how did you do it? Because that's where I'm at right now.
Go ahead, go to the microphone.
So I guess, I don't know what school you refer to, but we take pictures, we host events, we try to take down the names of how many people show up. So every time we have a small space or a space to work with, we keep going to the school and say, we need more space.
Mm-hmm.
The activity, look at the veterans who are coming, look at the need for it, and it's worth it for the summer. So, I'm trying to think. You're gonna wanna talk to the COO and find out who the facilities manager is under the COO, because they're the ones who are allocating space. And if it's an academic space, you're gonna talk to the provost as well.
Yes, I definitely recommend the provost. Go to the top. Don't go to a professor whose office is next to your office. CC them. They're CC'd. They could help and be supporters and CC them on the email, but you're sending the email to a higher up, and then it'll trickle down.
You have a current space right now, it's too small.
It's about as big as right here for 1,500 people. It is a two-cubicle office space is what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a numbers game, so I like that with our office counts people to like sign in and have that documentation, so the numbers are there, so when you go and they present that case, saying, hey, this is how many people are in here, this is not acceptable, you know? Exactly. And then if you can have everybody in the space at one time to take pictures, it's like really just knock it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what I would recommend is if you look here, I would Google University of Virginia Veterans. What university did you say you were at? Cincinnati, yeah. So, University of VA, there's Pace nearby you, Villanova, but there's lots of recent advocates that they just got these centers. Look, this is winter 2021, and Pace is a huge university, and they just got their Veterans Center. But advocate, and you'll get there. And reach out to these folks and others. Reach out to them and say, how did you do it? How did you do it? We're trying to do this. And they'll have input also. So that is a wonderful question, and I'm glad that there was some people who have direct knowledge of that. Yeah, and Michigan had a really good veteran space. That is Phil Larson. He is wonderful. I know there's a Michigan fellow over here. You know Phil Larson for sure. And there's space there. If you need to go in there to study, you can. You need to go in there and do flashcards, you can. Or just talk to someone. They're there.
Our veteran program service office is working. We are an urban campus. There's no space.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting with
They'll
several
make
different
space.
organizations to get a space, and I think having the student voice support DPS's voice and go out this way might be better.
Yeah.
Can you stay on Friday?
Yeah. Anyone else wants to share, please? We have 5 minutes. Please, I do want to hear others who have advocated. Yes, up here in the back. Please come.
I haven't advocated. I have a question just like her.
Oh,
Has
sure.
anyone been successful getting scholarships for vets?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you should have a foundation on your institution.
Okay.
And you can go to them. Now, there are some scholarships that vets can apply for, but they're not vet specific.
Okay.
So you need to let your veterans know about it.
Okay.
And then you can go to them and find out how can I set up or start or what do I need to do to get a vet specific
Florida right now, so I felt this one was really pertinent. And what university are you in the back, John?
University of Central Florida.
Oh, nice. So yeah, reach out to University of Florida then. Right here, look at this huge long list, not just for the veterans, but look at the spouse and dependents list. This is a very long list. This is a lot of money. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars of scholarships here. UF could definitely help your university. Reach out to veterans there, go to their site, and then just even the first contact that you see, or the bottom contact at the bottom of the page. Email, how did you all establish not one, but a long-ass list of scholarships, and get there, and continue that. So I think,
Donors, man. With the donors, the businesses always like to put their name in those donations and scholarships. And they can get them to donate to the school. Now the school is forced to have that scholarship specifically for veterans. So they can't take it away from them. This money is coming in specifically from banks, private donors, you know, so it's a lot of philanthropy too.
That's,
If you can do that, that's the best.
veteran-owned businesses are great for stuff like that. If there was veteran-owned business in your area,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them will do.
That's what we did, well, we got a grant from GE Aviation like a few years back.
I can't hear you, man. I'm sorry.
We got a $3 million grant from GE Aviation, so the former president of GE Aviation, just won a scholarship last year. It's a $5,000 scholarship for veterans, so we all look at like, companies and whatnot, because they're always looking to like, put their name in front of us, so.
And the biggest thing too is make sure you get a policy created that the school is forced to adhere to that policy. Okay? Because if you have a policy behind that scholarship and behind the money, then you can, you know, implement it, and they can't really take it away without looking back. See what I'm saying? Because there's always a lot of administrative work behind that, and it just gets into politics. Okay. Just making sure that you lock that down and protect it for veterans. Okay.
yeah. So that is all I have for you all. I hope you all have left here knowing your worth, that you deserve these spaces, you deserve these scholarships, and make them happen. Thank you.